Hey everybody, welcome back to the Toy Box. It is bottling day. The batch of beer is ready to go into the bottles, and we're going to show you how that works. We'll get all these bottles cleaned up and sanitized. We'll transfer the beer out of the fermenter into the bottling bucket, and we'll show you all the toys we play with as we go. Last week, I forgot to get video of dry hopping the beer. So Chris is going to tell you here real quickly about dry hopping and show you what's done with that.
So here in the secondary fermenter, you see this big sack that's full of hops that we put the hops in and then put that down in the beer for about a week of dry hopping. And this is what the little hop sock looks like before we put the hops in it.
And how many ounces of hops?
This is about 2.5 ounces of hops that we dry hopped it with.
Very good. All right. And we'll show you the rest of the process here for bottling day. So we have our bottles here. This batch of beer will make roughly 2 cases of 12-ounce bottles. So we are going to take these bottles and we're going to sanitize them with Star San. And we're going to soak them in Star San in this tub, and then we are going to rinse them with water here in the sink. And we have this special bottle washer that fits on the sink, and when you press the bottle down over top of this, it sprays water out the top into the bottle to clean them good. So we clean them good with hot water and Star San, and then we rinse them good with hot water as well to get everything good and clean. We also will be sanitizing the bottle caps that we use. These are just regular old bottle caps that we'll press onto these bottles. In a little bit, we will transfer the beer out of this fermenter and into the bottling bucket. And what makes this a special bottling bucket is there is a little valve here on the bottom that we can turn on and off to pull the beer out of there. We will use our siphon pump to get the transfer started, and then when we bottle, we have this beer bottling wand that we connect up with this tubing here that connects from the valve on the bottom of the bottling bucket to this bottling wand. And there's a special little valve in this that when you press it to the bottom of the bottle, it opens up and allows us to fill the bottle, and then as soon as you pull it out of the bottle again, it stops the flow of beer so you can move to the next one. And once we're done with that, we use the bottle cap press to press the caps onto the bottles and get them sealed up. And the bottles will take another 2 weeks or so to condition before we can actually crack one open and see what they taste like. And while we are in the process of doing this, we will get one last reading with our refractometer to calculate the final ABV. So that is all of the equipment and the general process that we have here for bottling day. And we're going to get started washing all of these bottles. That's the part that takes the longest out of all this, is getting the bottles clean and sanitized. And so we'll get on that, and we'll get some video as we go here and show you what we do. So as we wash these bottles, one of the things we're real careful about is we don't want any crusty crud in the bottoms of these bottles. One of the things we do when we serve our beer is we always make sure we immediately rinse them with hot water to get any of the yeast cake out of the bottom of the bottle so that it doesn't dry in there. But as we do these, we always inspect before we put them in here to soak, because if there is crusties that physically need removed, we need to do that with some sort of a bottle brush as we clean these. So we put them into the Star San mixture to soak. Fill them up good, shake them, drain them, and then Chris will take them and run them on the bottle rinser. And this rinses the insides of the bottles with a jet of hot water that activates when we press the bottle onto the faucet. So we have 48 bottles, 2 cases, cleaned and sanitized, ready to go. Next, we're going to take a cup of water and we're going to boil the priming sugar in this to dissolve it, and then we'll let that cool down, and that gets put into the beer in the bottling bucket to mix in, and that gives one last little bit of sugar that the yeast will need so that the beer carbs up in the bottles and we get good carbonation. The priming sugar finished boiling, and we've allowed that to cool and poured that once it cooled into the bucket before we started this. The siphon is running. Chris is siphoning the beer out of the secondary fermenter, down the tube, and into the bottling bucket. You can see here, nice steady flow of beer down this tube. And in just a little bit, we'll finish siphoning off this beer and we can start bottling. So we just captured a couple little sample glasses here of the beer off of the siphon tube as it's running. And we're going to use a little bit of this to take our reading in the handy dandy refractometer here in a little bit. That will give us our final gravity reading that we'll use to calculate the alcohol by volume. We're prepped and ready. We have 1 case's worth of bottles over here. We have the beer in the bottling bucket. Chris is going to open the valve, which is going to allow beer to come down through the tube, and he's going to use the bottling wand to fill this bottle. And as the bottle gets full, he will release pressure on the bottling wand just as it gets to the top, and that will shut off the valve in the bottling wand. So we have a perfectly filled bottle here, and I will use this press in just a moment to press a cap onto a bottle. Chris is taking a reading here, putting the sample on the refractometer, and he's going to check our levels here. What's it looking like?
We're sitting at 7 bricks, it looks like.
7 bricks. Seven bricks. So after doing the math, we're actually coming in at about 7% on this batch, which is a little bit higher than where we were anticipating being, but it's going to be pretty good. Ready to taste?
Yep.
All right, cheers. Let me know what you think.
Tasting really nice.
Wow, really nice hop flavor. Good hop aroma. This is going to be fantastic once it's all carved up and conditioned in the bottles.
Got that nice malt base behind it too.
Yeah, the bitterness
with the rye.
Yeah, the bitterness is not over the top. This is a very, very drinkable IPA. So there you have it. Our batch of Rye IPA is complete. We ended up with 46 bottles, 2 short of 2 cases, but right about where we should have been. Pretty happy with the 7% ABV, and man, the flavor of this batch is just fantastic. So we're really looking forward to seeing what this tastes like in another 2 weeks when the bottles are ready to crack them open. So we'll post another video then and add it to this playlist as well and let you know what we think at that point. So thanks for watching my videos. If you like what I'm doing on my channel, I'm going to keep trying to put up more stuff that I think you'll like in the future. So definitely subscribe, and hope to see you back soon. Until next time, go play with your toys.